beauty of this diversity is that it shows us that Christianity was open to spiritual exploration, a faith that encouraged individuals to seek the divine in their own way. But as the Roman Church sought to consolidate its power, this freedom of belief became a threat. The Gnostic Gospels, with their emphasis on personal gnosis, direct knowledge of the divine, were seen as a challenge to the emerging institutional church. Labeling these texts as blasphemous wasn't just a theological stance, it was a strategy. By declaring them heretical, the church could maintain control over what it constituted correct belief. These texts were particularly threatening because they presented a version of Christianity where direct experience of God was more important than obedience to the church. It's not just the Gnostics who were sidelined. Other early Christian communities had their texts dismissed. The Gospel of the Hebrews, used by Jewish Christians, and the Acts of Andrew, with its tales of apostolic journeys that diverged from the accepted narrative. By excluding these texts, we lost a diversity of early Christian thought, a mosaic that includes radically different takes on Jesus, the nature of God, and spirituality itself. The Apocalypse of Peter offers a graphic and vivid look at heaven and hell that was once influential but didn't fit with the eventual Orthodox perspective. The Book of Enoch, heavily influenced early Christian angelology, was popular in its day but left out of the final canon. The Apocryphon of John presents a cosmic struggle between Sophia and the Demiurge, emphasizing hidden knowledge and self-awareness. The Gospel of Mary gives us a glimpse of a female spiritual leader, which likely didn't sit well with the patriarchal structures forming at the time. So, were these texts truly blasphemous, or did they just pose a threat to a church looking to cement its authority? When you take a closer look, it's clear that what was deemed heretical often has had to do less with offending God and more to do with challenging the institutional narrative. The Gnostic Gospels and other apocryphal texts suggest a path to the divine that is experiential and personal, rather than mediated by church officials. I keep repeating that because it's important. We see that there wasn't just one way to be a follower of Jesus, there were many. And they were all wrestling with what it meant to connect with the divine, to seek truth and to find meaning. In rediscovering these texts, we get a chance to break open the box that history tried to seal, allowing us to explore the mysteries and wisdom that might have been overlooked, but still resonate today. This is not about discarding mainstream Christianity. It's about recognizing that there's more to the story, an invitation to dive deeper and explore the spiritual traditions that almost slipped through the cracks of history. So, let's take a deeper look at some of these Gnostic Gospels. Imagine this, you're back in the early centuries of Christianity. There's this sprawling, vibrant spiritual conversation happening with all kinds of beliefs swirling around. And right there in the mix are these Gnostic texts, mystical, challenging, deeply introspective. But as the Roman Church starts to gain control, they look at these texts and think, nope, these are dangerous, too much freedom, too much introspection, and so they're labeled heretical, hunted down, and almost erased from history. These texts could have stayed buried forever, but they were rediscovered, and just like that, a whole new dimension of early Christianity came to light. The Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary, the Apocryphon of John. These are game changers because they don't just rehash what you find in the Bible. They invite you to dig deeper,